Zeraora has a magic trick, can make people disappear. Now you see me. Now you don't.
Welcome to Hito 99U, where it's my job to bring you to the 99th percentile. You already know that's Masters in Pokemon Unite, and today I'll be covering the best combos and smiting tricks to get you overpowered on Zeraora, so you could also be busting out them 1v3s. This will be the 5th Pokemon we're covering in my smiting series, and we'll be looking at this tier list. So we got a little good news and bad news. Let's start with the bad. Zeraora ain't the best last hitter, and you'll see that as I go through some of the data on this list. But the good news is that if you use this to just get a little bit of an experience lead, you'll turn into a beast, and you can focus on the PvP aspects, the ganking, and all the stuff Zera can do really well, so that you can actually just get the last hits for free. And let's face it, sometimes you just gotta get that zap steal because your teammate's doing it even though you're ahead, or the enemy's just jumping on it, and the only way to win is to get it. Even if he's not the best, you gotta do it sometimes, so I got you covered on that. So let's get into it. Zeraora is gonna be best taken into the jungle. You can lane him, and I'll have information covered for that, but I'm gonna assume you're jungling. And with that said, let's start with items at the top as I zoom in. We're going to be looking for Score Shield, Muscle Band, and Buddy Barrier. I love this combo because the Muscle Band really amps up his auto attacks, and Zeraora gets a lot of damage off those auto attacks and a lot of moves that boost his auto attack speed, so it all works well together. Score Shield is a real game changer because it lets you do those backdoor 50-point scores, and you can really 1v1 anyone if your ult's up later on, so that plays really nice strategically with you being a split pushing threat, or you could be around for the team fights. Either way, Score Shield is just such an unsung hero of an item. Trust me, it's worth it. You do not need double offensive items. And Buddy Barrier, of course, is like one of the best items in the game on everyone. Of course, you get 40% shield on yourself, 40% on a teammate. That can like be a second life for you as you pull off your ult and then come in with this huge shield and knock out the enemy team when they thought they got you down to no health. That's like the key of Buddy Barrier. If you didn't know it, now you do. We're going to be running the Volt Switch and Discharge build. I prefer this over Spark and Wild Charge, and I think Spark has more of an argument as an alternative build. Wild Charge not so much, but most of the time this is like the better build if you really want to sweat your way up to Masters. Look at it this way. Volt Switch basically is like a free flash on 8-second cooldown. That's nuts. It's 70 seconds normally, so I mean, you're talking 8-second flash, and you can come back. Totally bamboozle your enemies if you use this the right way, and no one's getting away from you. Then you also got Discharge, which just does a huge AoE circle around him, tons and tons and tons of damage. And that's kind of like a good preface into why we're going to be talking about this whole video with smiting and last hitting with a grain of salt, because Zeraora is really a sustained damage character. Doesn't have the big burst of damage that will steal a Zapdos or even like steal bees early on. It's more about sustained pressure. So before I get into any of these specific combos, I gotta just lay that out there. Your best strategy most of the time is going to be coming in from the jungle, ganking the enemy team, and then coming back to those contested minions and getting them for free because you've ganked them with your pressure. And like I said before, of course, if you're forced to actually do some sort of contested last hit situation, you got some decent tools, and we'll start getting into that now. Okay, so I'm going to assume you're jungling. If you're looking at this for the first time and you've never seen any of my other infographics or the other Pokemon I covered, please, I invite you to look at them. I got Cinderace, Lucario, Talonflame, and Venusaur, just to name a few. But on this infographic, I cover key fights that happen along the way, and your best combo followed by your second or third best. And in this case, I have S tier combo, you'll see is listed as Slash because that's really your best move for most of the game. And your other combos are so weak that they don't even merit being at A tier. They have to be all the way down at B and C because it's really just your auto attacks, and they're not that good. And that's what I mean. This is kind of the flow chart you need to build in. If you're trying to auto attack for the last hit, the enemy is going to have an option that's better and probably going to beat you. So that's when you probably want to tell yourself, all right, I need to like all in this enemy and just try to fight him to the death because I'm probably not winning. And if you think you can, at least I'm giving you the percentages here to do so. But you keep that in mind. It's like slash or, you know, don't go for the last hit because you're just not going to be strong enough. Getting into the specifics here, I'm going to sort of skip the level 3 part here. I'll have that, and there's a link down below to the Reddit where I share this infographic. If you're happening to lane Zeraora, this level 3 stuff will be pertinent to you, but I'm going to focus this from a jungle perspective. So our real first contested fight, once we go through our jungle route of getting, you know, the lily pup, blue, red, the 2 core fish, you end up level 5 after all that. You want to end up at bees at 850 on the game clock, and your first best move is going to be slash. Slash is a 3-hit combo, and I'm going to roll a little clip here. All right, so I'm at bees here. You can see 850 on the game clock, but I'm in a 1v2, so I'm outmanned. I'm looking for 23%. I see it. I pull off slash, I get it, and I can get out with agility. I flash here to get out, and you'll see this comes back big because now I'm level 6, and I can punish them with my levels. They get greedy doing that turn, and they think they're ahead, but no, look, I slash them back. Teammates start coming in. We pick up the majority of the bees and the kills, and eventually, ultimately get more experience than them. So that's why last hitting is key. It looked like I was losing there, but you know, you lose the battle, you win the war. And hey, I hope you all know this takes tons of test matches and a lot of work in Excel. I'm nerding my brains out over here. So if this is helping you, please drop a like on the video so we can get this out to more people. And I want you to sub if you want one of your Pokemon coming up next. Let me know about that. Comment down below if you have a different combo or something else you want to see. And this is why slash is really strong. It does 3 strong hits of damage all across 20 frames. That's 333 milliseconds. I like to keep combos under 400 milliseconds to constitute something that's fast enough where your opponent has a hard time reacting to it. So that's what that all means here as you're looking through the infographic and the combos, just how to dissect that. Your biggest thing, again, you want to look for is what is the percentage that I push this button so I get that last hit. So you saw for me in that video we just talked about, I was looking for that 23%. You know, in my infographic, I have it. This is exactly 23%. So look for that if you don't know what that looks like on the bar. And then you press the button and then you get it. Unless your opponent also has this and they're using this, you know, sweaty information, you're probably going to beat them. So you could thank me later for the cheat codes. But moving along, 7:20 on the clock is the second round of bees. So between these time slots as a jungler, you go back into your jungler, your buffs will respawn. You do blue, you do red, you do the core fishes, and then you come back. You should be level 7 at this point. And your best combo is actually still slash, but these things have more health now. So that's why it's 19% on the Vespa Queen, 47% on the Comb Bee versus 56 over here. You know, you got the same move, but these guys are getting tougher basically. So I want you to focus on the Vespa Queen here. It's something I say in a lot of my videos. If you get all 3 Comb Bees, that's technically more experience than the Vespa Queen, but that's very unreliable because their health is going to be changing all over the place, and Zeraora doesn't have the best AoE moves. So I would really just focus on the Vespa Queen. And again, like I said before, I would focus on just ganking the enemy team and getting the bees for free. But, you know, if you got to contest, Vespa Queen first, and you're going to be looking for 19% on slash. Now keep in mind, you have a Volt Switch at this point, and you can use it offensively with this timing combo of Volt Switch into boosted auto or auto. The boosted is obviously better because boosted auto just does more damage, but you actually see these are pretty close as far as damage and the percentages. But I would really suggest working slash first because your Volt Switch is your actual mobility, get out of jail free card, everything you need to like aggress if you need to flash forward. So I don't like using it in damage situations unless I know I'm completely safe. And you know, you're not really completely safe if you're fighting the enemy team while this is going on. So maybe if you're in the situation where you're also hitting them with it, you could use it, but a lot of times I would just default to slash. And then if your slash is down, the flowchart tells you just start fighting the enemy team to the death or back off a little bit, wait till slash is back up. You know, play smart. You basically want to go for last hits if you have slash up. If you don't, you have to start thinking about just beating up the enemy team because Zeraora is really good at that. And that brings us to the last 2 pieces of the infographic. And I'm going to go over these quick because normally I love to talk about Drednaw and Zapdos and how you can steal them. But the truth is, like I said at the top, this isn't really Zera's role. When you're in those teamfight situations, you want to be hovering around and ganking people, getting as many people as you can, as humanly possible in that circle of your discharge. If you want to just go ahead and try to nuke Dred while the other team is far away, you can do that too. Zera has very high damage per second and great sustained damage, but just not actual last hitting smiting ability. So you just got to know that's the strengths and limitations of your character. Focus on ganking the enemy. Focus if they're far away, you can like burn down Drednaw really quickly. But you don't want to just go in there contested, because even though you do a lot of DPS, you're really putting the ball in their court to smite it out from you. Whether there's an enemy Lucario, Talonflame, you know, they can drop like 10% on Dred. You only got 4.5%. But if you got to do it, it's boosted auto into discharge. It's your fastest frame combo. It's 8 frames. And you just hope one of those discharge ticks takes it. Zapdos is a little bit different of a story. You actually can pull off your ultimate on it, and it shoots like a lightning bolt, takes like a second to charge up, and the lightning bolt travels and hits your target. That hits pretty hard, and if you spam to do a boosted auto or even an auto attack, it will come out almost like the same frame that the bolt hits if you're within melee range of your target. So this combo is not too bad. 7.4% is nothing to, you know, sneeze at. But it goes back to that whole thing I've been saying all along. Zera's function is better to just go and use this ultimate on the enemy team, wipe out 3 guys like I did in that intro clip, and then go walk back, take Zap for free, or not even do Zap if you're ahead. You know, you don't need Zap if you're ahead. Don't forget that. Regardless, these are your best combos in those situations, and you know, if you're forced to use these should be of great help. If you're a lane Zeraora, you might get a lot of help off the beginning there. Don't forget, these are the first fights you would do at level 3, so go ahead and check that out if you like to lane him. And that covers it. So I hope this helped y'all. If this did, please drop a like, drop a comment down below for anything else you'd want to see. Different combos, different Pokemon, different builds, different items. I could try that stuff. We could run the numbers, figure out what's going to work for you. And of course, subscribe if you want to see, because it could be your main next. Keep on that Masters grind, because class is dismissed.
Who's that Pokemon?